I'm Erin Canfield, and I'm running for Boone County Recorder. After spending 2.5 years in the office, I transferred. 3 other employees left after I did. It's a leadership issue. The current recorder doesn't have leadership experience except for what she's gained in the office, and that hasn't helped her to this point. So I would like to be your next county recorder, so vote for Erin Canfield on November 8th. There's not a lot that we can do to increase transparency. Recorded documents are public record, but vital records, there are entitlement issues. You have to meet entitlement criteria before issuing a vital record. And then with DNR things, most people don't come in to renew other people's ATVs or boats. So it's not really a transparency issue. Streamlining processes, I think there's a lot of things that we could cut just a little bit here that would make things a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. One of those things is we enter everything into a cash register. We did as of 1.5 years ago when I left the office. That cash register wasn't used for anything. We would go and enter a document in, enter in the amount of money. When the tape ran out in the cash register, it would be pulled out and thrown away. It wasn't used for daily balancing or monthly balancing. It's just what was always done. So I think that step can be eliminated. We make copies of everything. Every registration renewal that comes through the office, a photocopy is made. I think there's a way to keep secondary track besides the DNR's computer system that we used. There has to be a better way to keep track than making unnecessary copies, along with unnecessary copies of marriage records. When I left the office, those were immediately scanned in to the state, and it was stored on their database. So to have paper copies just seems unnecessary. So just a few little things where processes can be improved and things can be changed to make things easier on both the employees and a little bit faster for the customers that we serve. Yeah, so I think that the DNR and Iowa Land Records have done a great job of making things accessible. Those are both websites. You can get an app on your phone to do your DNR renewals and stuff like that, to buy your deer tags. And I think that's a great resource for people. It eliminates them having to come into the office. Marriage certificates, when I left the office, the process was to process the application in the computer, and then 3 days, business days later, the people would have to come back to pick up those marriage licenses. Other offices don't require people to come back in 3 days. The mandatory waiting period is still there. The licenses are post-dated, so they can take them with them, and that eliminates an unnecessary trip back to the courthouse. Not that I don't love seeing people, because I do, but it would just be a little bit easier if you could go up, apply for your marriage licenses with your witness, and walk out the door with everything you needed to get married, knowing that you have to wait a few days. I think that's important to help those people out that especially don't necessarily live right in Boone County. Marriage licenses can be received from anywhere in the state of Iowa as long as you get married in the state of Iowa. So in my time in the recorder's office and in my time in the treasurer's office, I have built great working relationships with people in all the other departments in the courthouse, I feel. I've always been there to help when they needed, even if that wasn't what was wanted by the department head at the time. Even little things. If somebody comes to me and asks me for help, I'm more than willing to help. Not only is it our job to provide documents and assistance with those things, but we all work for the same employer. We all work for the county. We all get paid by the taxpayers. I don't think that it should be such a division where I can't help somebody from across the hall because my boss doesn't like it. So I think that Boone County has a lot of quality people. There are lots of applicants usually for jobs in the courthouse. Getting through those is a process that starts in other departments and comes through, and the elected official has the absolute authority in who they're going to hire. I think that we've had some great people in there. Unfortunately, in the last year and a half, there have been 4 employees that have quit, which is huge for an office that has an elected official and 2 employees. To lose 4 in that short time span is really rough. It's got to be hard on the employee that's there currently. It's got to be hard on the current recorder. That turnover rate is just astonishing, and it's not typical in government jobs. The government job turnover rate is less than 10%. In the county recorder's office in Boone County, it's 200%. So we have to work to build good relationships with our employees, where I feel like the employees can talk to the boss, the elected official, where there's feedback that's provided in a constructive way that will help them do their job better. And I know how to do those things. I've worked as a leader for years. I've worked in many different aspects of it. And I'm really good with people, and I understand people. And I think that the turnover rate is probably the single biggest reason that I'm running. Yeah, so I adapt pretty well to change. I learn pretty quickly. I'm really good at understanding things, and I'm not afraid to ask for help. So those agencies that issue guidance, government departments, they don't do so just by sending a memo. There's trainings, there's videos, there's mentors that can help you along your way in implementing those. I do very well at adapting to those changes and helping other people adapt to them as well. So I understand about myself that I learn in a certain way. And I know that not everybody learns in that way, and that's okay. So it would be my job as the recorder to make sure that my employees feel supported in learning those changes and implementing those changes in our office. And leading by example is the best that we can do.